Okay, time to check lesson 107. This is actually the last lesson you guys are going to be checking with work from the book. So congratulations, you made it to this point. The last thing we have to check is a test review for your final test of the school year. Okay, so we start with number 5. The ratio of swallowtail butterflies to skipper butterflies was 5:2. So I said SW for swallowtail and SK for skipper. 5:2, that totaled 7 in the ratio category. It said that there were 140 butterflies in the conservatory, so that's the actual total of butterflies. They want to know how many were swallowtails, so I circled the swallowtails. I can get rid of the skipper butterflies. So my proportion is 5:7, as the swallowtails is to 140. I just saw here that I could get from 7 to 140 by multiplying by 20. Do 5 times 20, that gives me 100 swallowtails. Number 6 was an original change new problem. Because I saw it said the price of the car increased 8%. So I knew that that was an original change new problem. Our original percent is 100. It increased 8%. So after that, the new price of cars would be 108% of the old price. Before the increase, the average price of a new car was $16,550. They want to know the new price. I can get rid of that. So I had 100 over 108 is equal to 16,550 over my new price. Did my cross multiplying. I got this big number divided by 100, and you get 17,874. Number 7 was a graphing problem. So it said our points were at 3, -2, that's here, -3, -2, that's here, and -3, 6, that's here. So they wanted us to find the perimeter of the triangle. So on this one, I completed my triangle, and I know how long this side is because I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, and this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. So I knew how long the legs were, but I don't know how long the hypotenuse is. So I used my Pythagorean theorem. The hypotenuse is the longest side. It goes here. I squared 6, I squared 8, and I added them, and I got 100 equal to c squared. But I want c, not c squared, so I have to square root both sides. So 10 is equal to c. That means this side, the hypotenuse side, measures 10. 10 plus 8 plus 6 is 24 units for the perimeter. Number 8 refers to this triangle here. Now in the instructions it says triangle ABC is a right angle, or angle ABC rather, ABC. So this angle here is a right angle, okay? They want us to find the measure of ABD, ABD, so that's here, okay? So this is 90, this is 50, that makes 140, 180 minus 140 is 40. So this angle in here, ABD, this one here, has to be 40 degrees, okay? Now they want us to find the measure of DBC, DBC, that's this one here, okay? Well, they told us in the instructions that angle ABC was a right angle, so this whole thing has to measure 90, and if this measures 40, this one has to measure 50, okay? So now I know this one's 50, and then they want us to find the measure of BCD, BCD, this one here. Okay, so this is a straight line here. If this angle here is a right angle, that measures 90. A straight line measures 180. 180 minus 90 is also 90, so this angle has to be a right angle as well. So the measure of angle BDC, this is 90, this is 50, right? 90 and 50 make 140. 180 minus 140, this one has to be 40, okay? Which triangles in the figure are similar? So we've got this triangle here, we've got this triangle here, and then we've got the whole big triangle. And they are all right triangles, so they are all similar. All the 3 triangles are similar, they're all right triangles. Remember, similar means same shape, not necessarily same size. Number 19, or rather number 9, sorry. Number 9 says 60 is equal to 125% of what number? So I changed that into my equation. 125%, I divided by 100 to get rid of the percent. I got 1.25. Divide both sides by 1.25, and I get 48 is my what number? Number 10. Number 10 says 60 is what percent of 25? So I wrote that into my equation. 60 is what percent of 25? Okay, what's happening to WP? It's being multiplied by 25. How do I undo that? Divide by 25 on both sides. 60 divided by 25, I got 2.4, but my question asks for a percent. So I take my 2.4, multiply it times 100, 240%. 1.8 times 10 to the 10 times 9 times 10 to the negative 6. So 1.8 times 9 gives me 16.2. 10 to the 10 times 10 to the negative 6, I have to add my exponents, and I get 10 to the 4. Now this needs to change. This is not proper. My decimal, I want it to be here. Okay, so I say, well, 1.62, in order to get back to 16.2, I would have to multiply times 10. And 10 is the same thing as 10 to the 1. So 1.6 times 10 to the 1 takes me back to here. Then I bring my 10 to the 4th, and my final answer is 1.62 times 10 to the 5th. Number 16 says, what two consecutive whole numbers, is the square root of 600 between? Well, 600 is not a perfect square, so I got to look for the perfect square just below and the perfect square just above. Now, I remembered that 25 squared was 625, so that's where I started. I said, okay, the square root of 625 is 25. So then I figured out what 24 squared was, and it is 576. So the square root of 576 is 24. So I don't know what the square root of 600 is, but it's somewhere between 24 and 25. Okay, number 17. They give us this equation, y equals x plus 1, and they want us to find 3 xy pairs. So I just chose a value for x. I just picked -1, 0, and 1 as my values for x. Then I put them back in to see what y would be. So if x is -1, -1 plus 1 is 0. If x is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. If x is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So now I have some coordinate pairs that I can graph. So I got -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. Then they want me to find the slope. So remember, to find the slope, I need to pick any 2 points on the line. I'm going to go kind of big just so that we can see them. I'm going to pick this point and this point, and I'm going to create a triangle between them, a right triangle. Okay, and I'm going to count how many I rise and how many I run. Okay, the first thing I figure is my slope is positive, because when I look at the graph of this line, I look from left to right. My line is traveling uphill as I scan my eyes left to right. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. Rise of 6. Let's see how many we run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I rise 6 and run 6, 6 over 6 is equal to 1. My slope is 1. And you can pick any 2 points on that line and find the same slope. Okay. Number 23. Number 23. 23 says find the slope of the graphed line. So I just recreated the line here on my paper. And I picked 2 points that were on that line. I found, and you pick 2 points where they cross the grid lines, okay? So I picked right here at 1, 2. And then I picked up here at 3, 6. Because I could tell that is definitely places where the line crosses some grid lines. So I created my right triangle. The first thing I said was, okay, I'm going to look from left to right. From left to right, my line travels uphill, so it's going to be a positive slope. How many do I rise? Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rise 4. How many do I run? 1, 2. Rise over run, 4 over 2. 4 over 2 reduces to 2. My slope is 2. Okay. Number 26. 6x plus 5 is equal to 7 plus x. So the first thing I did was get my x's together. Okay, so I decided I wanted this 2x to come over here. Okay, So it's being added on this side, so I move it by subtracting it. Minus 2x, minus 2x on both sides, so it's gone over here. 6x minus 2x leaves me with 4x, and then I just rewrote everything. 4x plus 5 is equal to 7. Now I want to get my number parts together, my constants. So this is being added by 5 over here. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. That's gone. So now I just have 4x is equal to 2. Now what's happening to x? It's being multiplied by 4. How do I undo that? Divide by 4 on both sides. This reduces. I have x is equal to 2 over 4, which reduces to 1/2. X equals 1/2. Okay, now we got an order of operations thing. So we need to do all this multiplying and stuff and take care of these absolute value bars before we add, right? So on the bottom, to get rid of these absolute value bars, I said the absolute value of -6 is 6. Up here, 5 times a -3 is -15, times 2 is -30, times a -3, -30, or -4 rather, -30 times -4 is +120, plus -2 times -3 is +6. 120 plus 6 over 6 gives me 126 divided by 6. Final answer is 21. Okay, guys. Hope y'all have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.